the American identity is our public lands. They support wildlife, provide clean air and clean water, and outdoor recreation. Public lands produce about $30 billion in economic benefits in Tennessee. Nonetheless, they make up a tiny portion of our territory, about 10% or 2.4 million acres. This implies that any minor property access or efficiency losses can have a significant effect on our way of life and our economy. Owned and operated by all Americans, public lands are the cornerstone of an outdoor leisure economy of $887 billion in the West. The fact that we own public property, set aside the regulation, is a part of our history. We share these mountains, rivers, deserts, and forests with our community. Inspired by what these places mean to us, we have created lives. Hi, my name is Kyra Harvin, and I'm a Level 2 competitor from Cookeville High School FCCLA, and a policy I have chosen to be very important is protecting public lands. My concern is that their natural resources are frequently removed and sold to larger businesses as public lands become state property. Stopping land sales will preserve livestock, plants, and other indigenous species, which will help ensure that future generations have a better environment. To act on this project, I will conduct research on different policies and issues about what happens to the resources on public lands when they are sold to the state. Acting will also involve me contacting community agencies to learn more about this topic before advocating. The Western U.S. has traditionally contained this epidemic. However, it is moving eastward. Tennessee's senators in 2015 pledged their support to approve public land being sold to state ownership, which usually leads to being sold to private owners. All federal public lands, including national parks, national forests, wilderness regions, wild and scenic rivers, and wildlife preserves, are owned by the American public. And how these places are cared for, every American has a personal stake and a guaranteed say. State lands, by comparison, are owned by state governments, and most of them are expected to generate income. State lands are not owned in the same way as public lands by state citizens, and Americans who live in other states have no say in their management whatsoever. Many states do a fine job of preserving recreation and maintaining state parks, but they are regulated by different laws than federal public lands. If a state leases majority of its land for resource production, subdivisions, mining, or logging, and it makes short-term economical sense, they are well within their rights to do so. States have no responsibility in these decisions to include citizens. On average for public property, we pay around $4 a year in income tax. If these places were shifted to the states, it would be the sole responsibility of our governments and taxpayers to handle maintenance, utilities, road construction, and firefighting. This suggests that Western taxpayers would be overburdened, and states would be required to sell land to pay for upkeep. My main goal of the project is to inform the public about protecting public lands and the natural resources there. When being sold, these lands lose on average 45% of their resources, which proves to be very detrimental. To ensure protection of public lands, my focus is to share the information with outdoor enthusiasts, legislators, and lawmakers. These groups of individuals hold the power to determine the success of the cause. Outdoors men and women are able to passionately defend their advocacy with their substantial amount of time spent on the lands, and lawmakers have the power to determine their fate in court. On January 24th, I contacted Adam Kramer, Executive Director of Outdoor Alliance. Outdoor Alliance is a nonprofit organization which is based in Washington, D.C., and is partnered with 10 other organizations to fight for the protection of public lands. In the United States, Outdoor Alliance is the only group that puts together the voices of outdoor enthusiasts to protect public lands and ensure that those lands are treated in a manner that respects the experience of human power. With Outdoor Alliance, I was able to receive more information and learn effective ways to publicize and promote our cause. Mr. Kramer and I were able to have a phone conversation and discuss the message behind public land and what it means to protect them. The result of my reaching out opened an opportunity for more people to become involved, as I was greatly informed on the topic. I also contacted Senator Marsha Blackburn and 6th District Congressman Rose. Unfortunately, Senator Blackburn and Congressman Rose have yet to respond to my message. However, I believe that my activism will be seen, if not by them, but by citizens of the state. And collectively, we can instill change to the policies that take away our lands. In the future, I would plan to reach out to many more legislators and lawmakers to create a further outreach. To reach even farther audiences, I took to Instagram and created 2 posts that promoted protecting public lands. The first post consisted of the text, "Protect our public lands," and in the second, I shared the main cause of protecting lands to encourage people to advocate. On January 18th, I presented my policy to 5 political science majors at Belmont University on Zoom. This audience was ideal to me because in the future, these students will be our lawmakers and influence our country and state immensely. After my presentation, the students were very interested in the policy and decided to further advocate in their future as well. My presentation lasted approximately 47 minutes and included thorough questions from the audience. My main discussion points included the environmental risk of selling public lands, the importance of citizens owning lands, and how many people benefit from these places. Our lands are a part of our homes, and as Tennessee residents, we should be aware of what happens to them and our future. I will now answer the follow-up questions. During this project, I was able to reach out to new people and improve my communication skills. This will allow me to become a better student in high school and college and succeed in my future workplace. There were a few obstacles that challenged me. However, I was able to overcome them by staying persistent and focusing on my goal. Thank you.